Hey, Nick here. Today we're going to talk about window motor gears, 58 to 66 Thunderbirds. Now, I'd imagine a lot of other Fords use some of these gears as well, but I'm not really that familiar with the other Fords. I know Lincoln's, like this kit, it's for a Lincoln because it's got the 4-bolt cap, but the gear itself can be used on a Thunderbird. The gear is the same. Squarebird 58960. This is the motor head for the window motor. Here's the gear inside. The motor attaches to here. Spins this, turns that. Then it turns this. You know, these are pretty durable. These rarely go bad. They should have stuck with this. So that's a Squarebird 58960 Thunderbird window motor, gear and gear head. Now these are 61, 2, and 3. 61, 2, and 3, and 4 for the front. 61, 2, and 3 front and back, and 64 for the front. Okay? Now they have a window motor gear and a worm gear. Okay, they work together like this. Okay, the worm gear spins, turns this gear, just like in the Squarebird. Okay? They went from good to worse. This is really a bad design. What happens with these, I'll show you a good one first. So here's a good gear. So I'm going to zoom in on this. So this is a good gear. So you can see how the edges of the gear are flat, mostly. Right? Let me move that away. See, the edges of the gear are flat, right? That's a good gear. They're all even, right? So if you look at this, right? Here's a good gear. The edges of the gear are flat. Here's a bad gear, okay? The middle part of the gear, the gears come to a point because they've been worn out. So for example, here's one that's worn out bad, okay? That one's obviously no good compared to a good gear, worm gear, 61 to 64, Thunderbird, okay? Now this one, you can see the edges of the gear, how they're coming to a point. Turn it a little bit. Here, look on the other side over here. They're kind of coming to a point a little bit, as opposed to, look at here. See how these are squared off, and then you come down here. See, they come to more of a point. This is a worn out gear. Yeah, it can still be used, but it's worn out. And what it's going to do is it's going to ruin this gear, the mating gear. The flat gear, it'll ruin that. They ruin each other together. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is these gears should be changed together, not separately. When you buy a window motor gear for a 61, 2, 3, or 4, you should get this and this together, and they should both be good. Okay, if this has pointy gears on it, they've been worn out and they're pointy, and this is good, this will eventually ruin this. They need to be both in good shape, right? They need to have, this one needs to have squared off teeth. This needs to be good. So like, for example, okay, I'm gonna zoom in again. Okay, see the teeth on this? Now this is a brass gear. It's unusual. They're usually like this. They're just metal, gray metal. But here's a brass one. Now, unfortunately, I don't know why they have brass and metal, and I don't know if this came out of a specific excuse me, if this came out of a specific year or not. Anyway, see how nice the teeth are? They're straight, they're not worn out. Now look up here, see how the top of the gear is flat and straight? That's good. Here, let me put it up there. Yeah, see, that's good. They're flat and straight along the top. Now look at this gear. This is a bad gear. Look at that. Look at the top up here. Look at that, how it's all worn out. It's U-shaped. This gear is bad, and you can see it here too, see? This is a worn out gear, man. Okay. Now these two gears, you could say these are good, but if you look at this gear, you can see there's damage to the teeth, as opposed to this on the left is, well, that one's got damage here, look. I didn't see that before. This one, get my pointer. Where am I? This one's got damage right there. I didn't see that before. But if you look here, you can see there's damage on this gear. Right? See the gear, and then the gears become wavy a little bit. See, look at how they're wavy. See that? They're wavy. They're worn out on one side, and they start to the gear teeth, they start to bend. This one's got damage. It can still be used, but it does have a little bit of damage there, you know? Yeah. So these gears are on the edge of being no good. See? Yeah. Okay. And this one's in immaculate condition. It's just beautiful. Look at it, almost no wear. So this, who knows? This may have come out of a rear, and it was just never lowered, you know, raised or lowered, hardly ever. You know, it's got a little tiny bit of wear right there. You can see a little dot, but it's nothing, you know. And this never wears out on these. This is very similar to the convertible flat brass gear, the smaller one that's not available, but it's not the same. I already went through that. They're not the same, unfortunately. Okay, so these, zoom out, 61, 2, 3 all, and 64 front, okay? Now, 64, 5, and 6. Okay. Here's the factory original window motor gear in 64, 5, and 6. 64 in the rear and 5 and 6 all, front and rear. Okay. This is the factory original gear. Now, this is rubber. So the metal part of the gear is connected to the plastic gear via this rubber. And why they did that is because these are supposed to give. They're not supposed to be rigid. Okay, so when the window goes all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom, it'll stick on its stop. So the window motor gear is supposed to give to allow the motor to pull the window off of its stop. This is an original replacement from, this is from Ford. This is an original replacement window motor gear. And this is what I call the 3 dowel type gear. It's got 3 dowels, right? See those right there? Those are the 3 dowels, okay? And then in the kit, you get brand new ones. See, brand new 3 dowels. And then here's the bigger plastic part, which is down here, okay? Down here, right? And then they give you a new metal part, which is here, the upper part. And then what connects those 2 pieces what connects these two pieces are the dowels. Okay, they go in here. It's kind of hard to put them together. Use grease. And so this is available from Napa. Quick, have another cigarette. So I got these from Napa. So now this pile of shit, this is the spring gear. That's what I call the spring gear. You do not want to use these. You do not want to buy them. You don't want to use them. Some of the dealers sell these. Do not buy them. And if you're ordering a window motor gear, ask them, are you giving me the gear with the spring or the gear with the dowels? And you want the gear with the dowels. This will make your window lock up. So, you know, your window will be working great, and one day you come out and the window doesn't go up or down. Chances are this is why. It's very common. Okay, these are junk. They do not give. Those springs don't do anything. They don't allow this to go like that, you know. These springs make it rigid, and that's all it is. It's got no flex, no give whatsoever. It's a pile of crap. So you don't want these. You want the 3 dowel type, or if you can find an original type. Now you can see this has a little bit of warpage. See that? It's kind of warped right there in. Can you see that? They warp a little bit, but so what? These work really well, the originals. I got a couple of these left is all. They're hard to find today, you know. You don't see them, but these are available, so you can get these. So who cares? Okay, Napa or a T-Bird supplier has them. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. So, good luck. Now you know what to do when you're changing your window motor gears. Okay, thanks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.